Monsieur Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fine.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave acts in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jama Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jama Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
But right now, it's the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ismail Asise, who's back with us. Doc, welcome back.
Good morning, Peter. Thank you.
I always like your dress. I mean, this tie, man.
You like to tease me?
Oh, not teasing. I love the tie. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is what, wine color?
Well, it's a mixture of colors.
It's a mixture of colors. Fantastic. All right, let's start with updates. What's the latest?
Well, thank you, Peter. The first update is from the presidency. His Excellency, the President, sent a congratulatory message to Pope Leo, the newly appointed elected Pope. Yes, His Excellency President Adama Barrow has extended heartfelt congratulations to His Holiness Pope Leo on his ascension.
Pope Leo the 14th.
The 14th. Yes.
The Roman number is
okay.
Is very important.
It wasn't written here. Sorry. Yeah. The 14th.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for the rectification. The president reiterated the Gambia's commitment to fostering interfaith dialogue, peace, and religious tolerance. The message ends. In the same vein, the president also had another engagement, constructive talks with the UN Special Representative, Excellency Simao, regarding the 2024 draft constitution. This is part of the president's continued commitment to inclusive democratic reforms and institutional strengthening. But also, there are also engagements with the Vice President, His Excellency Mohamed B.S. Jallow, who welcomed the Haji Gay Foundation for the Physically Challenged. These are long-time partners to the government, providing medical supplies and support service for vulnerable citizens. Now, the Ministry of Justice also released a statement during the weekend, the full report on disposal of forfeited assets. And the documents that were published included items and properties sold by or under the direction of the Jani Commission, one. Tractors allocated to councils, cattle sold by the Judiciary's Sheriff Division, and other assets disposed of by Alpha Capital and on behalf of the government. This marks a significant step in ensuring transparency and public accountability, particularly with regards to Jama Assets. Then we have also updates from the Ministry of Works. The minister, Honorable Ibrahim Asila, visited Daman Shipyard in the Netherlands to inspect the brand new green ferries that are being constructed for the Gambia. They're expected to be in the Gambia by end of 2025. These ferries will significantly improve river transport services, contributing to national connectivity and economic growth. But also a press release from the Ministry of Interior indicates that, reaffirms the government's position that all private security companies must be officially registered to operate. This measure ensures proper oversight, but also enhances national security. And also, yesterday I was listening to a program. Someone sent a message concerning the MRP.
Yes.
I have good news. Yes. Yesterday, they started issuing MRP passports. Operation is back. So that's for the public to know that first from yesterday, the machine-readable passports are now being printed as of yesterday. In addition, the Immigration Department also has sent a mobile team to the provinces to issue biometric passports. This was what the government had promised earlier on, in line with the increment of the passport fees. We said we will expand enrollment services to the provinces. Yesterday they started in Sibanor for West Coast region. They've already launched it. The citizens can now apply for passports in West Coast region in Sibanor, in Lower River region in Soma, in CRR in Kaur, in URR in Basse, and in North Bank in Kerawan. Now all the schedules are here. The dates in Sibanor was yesterday 12th May to 13th. Soma will be 14th to 15th, 16th May. Bansang 17th to 18th May, Basse 19th to 21st May, Kawur 22nd, and then Farafenye 23rd, then Kerawan 25th of May. This is in line with government efforts to make sure that people can access passports without coming to Banjul. I think these are the only updates from government.
Okay. It would be interesting if, immigration can also give you information as to what the diaspora, should do. Because that was somebody texting in from the diaspora.
For the MRP?
Yes, for the
now
MRP.
There are two, so for the, as part of the ongoing reforms to expand enrollment services, we said we are going to also expand to 4 countries in the diaspora, but also in addition to mobile services. As we speak, the immigration officials who are supposed to go to the diaspora to provide the service, their passports and visas are being processed to go. And once that is done, they'll go and start with the mobile services first, because there's urgent need to provide biometric services for Gambian. So very soon, once this paperwork is done and they'll be deployed to the diaspora, they'll engage diasporans to provide mobile services for them, whilst they also set up for the permanent services in the 4 countries that we mentioned, i.e. the UK, Italy, Spain, and USA. So for those who want the MRP, MRP, it means that they can start applying now. They don't have to be here physically because it's not biometric. So now they can now follow the process of applying for these passports. I've also got many calls from people in the diaspora who need to renew their passports.
Exactly.
That is why I've been always following on this. This morning I spoke with the Minister of Interior, and he assured me that yesterday the passports are being printed, MRP. So those in the diaspora who are in need of these passports can now contact their contact persons here to start applying for these passports.
Fantastic. Do we have any update from Mauritania on the issuing of national documents?
I think what I heard last is that the transaction is completed.
It's completed.
They've offered consular service to the Gambians who are living in Mauritania. Remember, Mauritania is not part of ECOWAS, and as part of conditions for them to continue staying in Mauritania, Gambians, they need to have Gambian identification. That made it very urgent for them to be given these identity documents so you can continue staying in Mauritania, because Mauritania is not part of ECOWAS.
All right, Dr. Cisse is here. He never runs away from your questions. 77115999. Yes.
Before you go to the questions,
yes, please.
I think I need to speak a bit about the ongoing discussions around the sale of Jama Assets and also what government has done. When Mustafa Dabo's expose or investigative report came out, there were public calls for transparency around the issue, particularly calls for the government to publish the list of the assets sold and who bought them. Immediately, government responded through a press release saying that we're working on collating that data, and in due course, it will be published. And true to its promise, government has indeed done that within a very short period of time. In line, all geared towards ensuring transparency around the sale of assets and to assure the public that government has nothing to hide and government has no one to protect. During the weekend, the government published a list of the assets sold, who bought them, their valued prices. It's for the general public to know. So I think now that government has also wants to also follow due process. There'll be parliamentary inquiry. Wednesday, Parliament will convene tomorrow to convene a committee to do a parliamentary inquiry into the selling of Jama Assets. At the same time, also in line with also due process, the National Audit Office has done an extensive investigation, auditing of the transactions around the sale of Jama Assets. So we urge the public to be patient until these reports are out, which can give us a clear indication and information as to exactly what has happened surrounding the sale of Jama's assets.
All right. That's all about that?
Yes.
You're not going to talk about police and protesters?
Well, protesting, police, these are law enforcement issues. They are public order issues. And this is the domain of the police. It's an operational issue. As a government, we try to let the police do their job as independently as possible. We don't get involved with the decisions of the police. That is why when people apply for permit, they don't apply to the government. They apply to the IGP of police. Now, people have to understand that the police, when they receive an application, they do their assessment and decide whether to reject or to approve a permit for a process. One thing that we as a government can say is that we praise the police for being very professional during this entire period. We've seen these scenes around Westfield. The police exercised restraint, so things did not escalate. But also, we also praise young people for being very peaceful during this period. We are a very young democracy, Peter, and these are some of the hiccups of these are some of the teething problems of a young democracy. These things will happen. Remember, for 22 years, we've been under dictatorship where the public could not speak on things that are very concerning to them. And also, the relation between the state and the public was somewhat a bit not very good. But now we are learning. These things is a process. We just praise the police for exercising restraint during this period, for being professional, but also the young people who are at Westfield for being very peaceful. When it comes to policing issues, public order issues, this is purely an operational issue, and I think the police are the ones to deal with those issues.
And when you repeat that statement, was Demba Sabali wrong to have made the sort of comments that are now being ascribed to him? Fal, Rohi, Malik Low, any other politician who jumps into the protest will be handcuffed and taken away.
Well, I can't comment on that. I think this statement was uttered on a political platform by a politician. I think politicians will have to respond to that. I'm here to speak for the government on policy issues and on government's position on certain issues.
Demba Sabali is not part of the government that you are part of?
But in that particular context, he was
speaking Was he not speaking from a position of authority?
He was speaking as a politician.
If he wasn't a minister, do you think he would have spoken the way he did?
Well, as a he's the deputy national president of the NPP.
And I'm saying if he wasn't a minister, would he have spoken the way he did?
Well, that is hypothetical. I wouldn't know. What I can confirm is that he was speaking on a political platform as a politician. Therefore, my role is not to speak for politicians who make statements in a political platform.
Jama Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jama Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jams, Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Busel mu fine.
What?
Busel mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Busel mu fine? Wave, your money is yours.
22 minutes past 9 o'clock. Dr. Cisse is here with us, possibly up to the top of the hour. Do you have time?
Of course.
Oh, fantastic.
I've always done for you, Peter.
Sometimes you come here rushing me. I have only 10 minutes for you. Okay, 7711599 or 9910959 for SMS, 9232333 for WhatsApp. Greetings, Uncle Peter. Dr. Cisse was once a powerful voice against corruption, mismanagement, and government failure. He inspired many of us with his courage and honesty. But now, after joining the same government he fiercely criticized, his tone has completely changed. The issues he once condemned are now explained away. And when people ask why, his answer, it is always simply, you are not in the system to understand.
I don't think so. I think what I've seen since joining this government, I've seen a serious commitment on the part of His Excellency and his government to fight corruption. And that is a fact. The measures that this government has taken to fight corruption are unprecedented. No government has done it before, and I can name a few. For the first time in the history of this country, we have an anti-corruption law. And also currently the commissioners are
who is implementing that law? There's no commission to implement
the interviews have been done. It's a process. Like I said, government is a process. The interviews have been done. Shortlisting was done. Interviews are done. Very soon they will swear in the commissioners to start their work. That alone is a plus for our democracy. The second thing that we have done is to strengthen and enhance the National Audit Office and give them the liberty and the latitude to do their work without fear or favor. Now, the National Audit Office can audit any institution And also their reports are always, action is always taken on their reports. They've been, where there is a suspicion of fraud and malpractices, it's sent to the IGP for further investigation, which is a competent authority, then to the AG chambers for prosecution if necessary. So I think these all are additions to some of the measures that the president and his government has taken to fight corruption. And these are facts. We've also updated we amended the Public Procurement Act to ensure public finances and public procurement is as transparent and as robust as possible. The PPPA, the public-private partnership laws have also been amended and enhanced to ensure that there is value for money for whenever government goes into PPPs. We've also gone digital. Today, most government services are not paid in cash at the at ministries. You go to the bank and pay. Services are more efficient, more effective now. The GRA, which is responsible for government revenue collection, have gone almost not 100%, but they've got digital to a large extent that now they're able to meet their targets in government revenue collection. So I think it's a working process. At least the measures we've taken, we need to be judged by that. Now, yes, people claim about there's corruption, there is this, there's that, but the evidence that we have and what we know is that we are aware that there are challenges, and these challenges exist in any government. But what is important is what are we doing about it? And we are doing something about it. We are bringing laws, we are amending laws, we are bringing in serious measures, we are using digital measures to make sure we fight corruption. And that is what is important. For now, I think corruption should be fought by everyone. And I think what the government can do is to bring the right policies and the right laws and the right legal frameworks. We are doing that. The public also has to also help by making sure that they flag whenever they see corrupt practices, they can also report. So I think that is my response to that.
Good morning, Peter. As I live within the Brikama Area Council, I have read on the newspapers that Brikama Area Council has or had never received a tractor from the property of Yaya Jammeh. Not only Brikama, but other area councils too. Has the minister had consultations with the said area councils to make sure?
Well, I did not, but I've just read this morning that Mansakonko area council said they've received, I think it's Mansakonko or Janjam, but I'm not sure. One of the area councils said they've indeed received the tractors. Mm-hmm. So I've also heard the Brikama area council chairman and also the Kanifing KMC mayor saying that they have not received. I don't know the circumstances around these things. I don't know how they were delivered, who delivered them, so I cannot really respond to that.
Hi, Uncle Peter. Can you please ask the minister, how far is the Spain circular migration? Have they done any selection yet?
Yes, selection process is complete for the first round. Based on my discussions with the minister the last week, I really raised this issue. I asked him how far. Selection was completed. Selection was done. The process was done by officials of the Spanish embassy in Dakar and Banjul here, and also officials in the ministry. I think they've done the selection. They've selected, I can't remember the exact number he told me. I know he told me a figure. I can't really remember. I forgot.
The minister
told me a figure.
Is he in town?
He's in town.
Ababakar, text him the number or text me the number.
If he's listening, he can send the information to my WhatsApp so I can share it with the general public.
If he's in town, he is listening. I can assure you that. Can you please ask the doctor how many parliamentary inquiries there have been in this country? Still, the police or the government never implemented any. Why did government not give them to AMRC? These are two things now. AMRC, to dispose of the Jama Assets rather than Alpha, Capital.
Well, when it comes to the parliamentary inquiries, I'm not aware. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not aware of any parliamentary inquiry that was completed to the extent that recommendations were given to government to take action and government fails to take action.
Not even AKI?
I think that was in the courts. They're in the courts. So with the court process ongoing.
There was a parliamentary something about AKI. Yeah,
No, what I'm saying is that the process is in the courts. Maybe, I don't know the recommendations.
Well, certain family members have decided to file a civil suit against the state.
Exactly, but some of I can't remember the recommendations of the AKI. But if there are any, government will really fulfill those recommendations. What I'm saying is that government has failed to act deliberately, I can't remember any such inquiry. I think democracy is a process. I think what this government does is to let every institution function within the democratic framework. If there's a parliamentary inquiry and there are recommendations coming from those inquiries, government is always bound to act on those recommendations. On the issue of AMRC, well, I wouldn't know. I wasn't there. There is no communication to why they were not engaged to sell off Jama's assets instead of engaging Alpha Capital. So I can really respond to that.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the Honorable Minister how much it costs for the government to acquire a CT scan. I believe that every major hospital should be allocated one. A colleague of mine was involved in an accident and was admitted to Ndeban, but he had to be transported back and forth, to the RVTH. Healthcare is a nightmare in this country because you have to purchase everything at the pharmacy.
Well,
let's start with the CT scan.
CT scan, the last time I checked, I think a couple of weeks ago, I saw somewhere that now it's fully operational at the AFSTH. I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but that is what I've made understand, that CT scan, after a long, there was a new CT scan that was bought. We're waiting for the engineer.
AFSTH is in Banjul.
That's what I'm saying. That was an engineer to fix it, to install it. The last time I checked, it's now fully operational. CT scan is fully operational at the AFSTH. That's what I understand. So for Ndemban,
there seems to be confirmation of that because the guy is admitted as Ndemban, but has to be taken to RVTH, to be scanned.
Yes.
So it means the scan in Banjul is operational.
I know also that, I'm not sure if it was some Swedish philanthropists came to the country a couple of months ago. I was even helping them, facilitating their logistics for them. I think they brought in...
Because you can speak Swedish.
They brought in a new CT scan as well, which was installed on Demba. I'm not sure if it's a complete one or not, but that is not important. What is important is that for now, that is one at the AFSTH. Government is a process, like I said. We cannot provide CT scans in every hospital. At the moment, it will come. There was a period when there are no CT scans. At least now we have one at Banjul. And when they say we are forced to buy everything at the pharmacies, which is not true. I'm pretty much sure that some things, yes, when they don't exist, that you can buy at the pharmacy, but not everything. Some things are still available some basic things are still available at the hospital. I think, Peter, let's look at context. There are countries in the sub-region here, I don't want to name names. If you go to these hospitals, you don't get anything for free. Gambia is one of those few countries in the continent.
Well, it's for free. It may be for free, but he's saying he got nothing, zero.
Yeah, but you cannot use your own experience to make... To kind of make a suggestion that is how the entire system works. It's your own personal experience. Maybe at that point in time, the things you need at that point in the one at the hospital, that doesn't mean that nothing is at the hospitals. I think that's an unfair generalization. What is important is that Gambia is doing well in terms of healthcare provision in this subcontinent here. Gambia is one of those few countries where you can get medicine for free at the hospitals and some of these basic things that you need. Other countries you have to buy. Go to our neighbor here in Senegal, everything you have to go and buy at the pharmacy. They don't give you anything for free. So I think we are doing well in that front. Yes, there are still challenges, but some of these challenges are inherited. But we are working hard to ensure that healthcare provision to every Gambian is not only accessible, but also is quality.
It's just gone past 1:30 here on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on Tuesday, the 13th of May, 2025. We're grateful to our sponsors, Jar Oil and Wave on YouTube.
Excellent jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Basel Mufine, Wave, your money is yours.
Jama Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jama Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.